What are some cooking hacks you swear by?
If your food is bland even though you've added salt, then it's missing acidity. Lemon juice, lime juice, or vinegar are easy additions.
If you wanna splurge, champagne vinegar or Prosecco vinegar is f***ing delicious, and just about anything as a finishing acid.
So I just tried this with my cereal and it tasted disgusting.
Throw some more salt in there.
I use soy sauce in a lot of stews and soups to help bring out savory flavors. My minestrone, for instance, usually has some soy sauce in it.
Similarly, unsweetened cocoa powder. I add this to stews and chilies and it adds a rich depth of flavor and no one can pick out cocoa.
Everybody raves about my pecan pie and always wants me to make them for potlucks or gatherings. It's literally the Caro syrup bottle recipe with a teaspoon of cinnamon, the tiniest dash of ginger, and 1.5 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and it's exactly like you mentioned, a depth of flavor without actually tasting like chocolate.
Not mine, but my wife browns the butter before she adds it to chocolate chip cookie dough, and they're the best freaking cookies I've ever eaten.
If my recipe calls for cinnamon or other spices and melted butter, I let the spices cook in the butter for a bit to bloom them.
One thing that took me embarrassingly long to learn was that some spices are fat soluble, and others are water soluble. When I first started learning to cook, I wanted to figure out how to use each of the common spices. I put a dab of paprika on my finger, licked it, and it tasted like nothing. I concluded that it was a useless spice and took it out of my cooking. I was wrong, of course. Paprika is fat soluble, so when I put it straight on my tongue, there was nothing that could break it down. If I'd mixed it with oil or butter first, the taste would have been apparent. We have to be conscious of this in our cooking. Water-soluble compounds can be readily broken down by the saliva in our mouths, but fat-soluble ones need to be mixed with a fat, e.g., bloomed in butter. And a lot of spices, including garlic and cinnamon, contain both types of compounds, so they'll have one flavor on their own, but a different, fuller flavor when bloomed.
Prep everything first. Have all of your veggies cut and ingredients ready. You will be more relaxed. Clean as you go. Wash your dishes while waiting for your food to finish cooking. Less dishes to deal with at the end of the night.
If you're married, a good way to split up the work of making dinner is to split prep and cooking. The way the wife and I like to do it is that I do all the prep work. Chop / cut / dice / peel / etc. any veggies or meat that need that. Set out all the ingredients and equipment she is going to need. I'll even pre-measure things for her. Basically like I'm setting up for her to do a TV cooking show. I don't mind doing that stuff, and I'm faster at knife work than she is. I hate cooking though. She loves cooking, but hates all the prep. So it works. I tend to clean while she is cooking too, and typically when dinner is done the only thing left dirty is whatever pots / pans are on the stove. Then she takes care of the dishes from eating and pots. It's a great 50-50th split for us.
At my house we have an easy solution. If she cooks, I clean up. If I cook, I made the mess, so I get to clean up.
Divorce your lawyer, hire a gym, join the wife. I always take my cookies out of the oven a couple minutes or so before they're supposed to come out. They still cook a little bit when they're cooling on the pan, and as a result they come out nice and soft.
I do this but also at the instance I smell them. It works out well every time. Trust the cooling process.
Even more important when cooking meats. When using a probe thermometer, stop cooking a few degrees before the desired temp, and in the words of the great Alton Brown, let carryover do what carryover does.
Find a seasoning blend you like, pre-blended or not. If not, make your own blend ahead of time for ease, and put it in everything. Well, not everything, but a lot of things, and use your own judgment on how much of it for each dish, but even a little sprinkle can really do wonders. Silpat or knockoff Silpat mats are amazing. I've used both the actual brand and random ones from Costco, no difference. Put one down on your baking sheet, bake away. Mats are super easy to clean and you'll have very little cleanup on the baking sheet itself. I never end up following this, but clean as you go. Also, my grandma taught us this trick: if you made the meal, or most of it, sit down for a bit before you eat, maybe have a glass of water or something while you wait. You'll relax and break the cooking mode and be able to go into enjoy the meal mode. She cooked for 5 kids and a husband in addition to herself, so she knew the value of it.
Preheat. Preheat the oven every time. Let your pan heat up, and let the oil heat up. When I saute veggies, chopped onions, bell peppers, etc., I prep the veggies first, add salt to the prep bowl, and let it sit for 10 to 20 minutes before adding the veggies to the pan. The salt will penetrate the veggies, and drive water out. Veggies taste better, and take less time to sear and pick up color. If your frozen food has instructions for cooking from thawed, move that food from the freezer to the fridge the day before and cook it from thawed. It will almost always be better.
Freeze anything with liquid when there is extra. Open a tomato paste and knead 1 TB. Freeze the rest of the can in a flattened Ziploc. Break a piece off when needed. Extra gravy from Thanksgiving? Freeze it. Make extra sauce on pasta night and freeze the rest. Now you don't have to settle for jarred stuff when having Moe's sticks. Open a pineapple juice can for 2 ounces. Freeze the rest in 1 ounce increments. Leftover creamed spinach? Freeze it and either eat later or add to scrambled eggs for the best scrambled eggs you've ever had.
Do similar tasks all at once. Making potatoes and carrots. Peel both first, then chop. Don't do one veg and then the other. You'll have a better rhythm with your tools and you'll only have to change tools once instead of 3 times. Breaking down a pack of chicken thighs. Do all the skins and fat at once, all the bones at once, then all the slicing at once. Also, keep a damp rag next to your cutting board for cleaning your board and knife, and keep a dry rag over your shoulder for drying or wiping anything as needed. This saves a ton of trips over to the sink and/or towel holder. Rinse your sauce jars with a bit of water to clean them out and not waste any sauce. If you buy jarred pasta sauce, add just a few tablespoons of water to the jar after you dump it and put the lid back on, give it a few brisk shakes and dump it with the rest of the sauce. Also on board with the clean while you cook crew. Far easier than having a ton of mess afterwards. And clean everything, don't just give the stovetop a swipe. If you have a gas stove, take the burner grates off and clean around the burners, etc., and if the grates are dirty, give those a wash as well. Grease and dirt build up fast in these areas and that's how you end up with a crusty stovetop.
There's a cookbook author, Ronna Welsh, that has a cooking school, The Purple Kale, that suggests things like this. We are all busy and need shortcuts, so take an hour or 2 on a Sunday afternoon to develop flavors in items. So during the week, it's just a simple matter of combining flavors, saving you prep and clean up time as well as time to develop flavors. You can poach entire heads of garlic, put everything into a pot, enough water to cover, boil then simmer until the garlic to soft and the bite is gone. Save everything including the water in the fridge. Add water to stocks. Squeeze out the soft garlic. Rice can be cooled, then spread out onto a pan to cook off. Drizzle with olive oil and add some seasoning. Beans can be prepared and then save everything including the liquid. I hack up 3 pounds of yellow onions and reduce it down to a caramelized jam. Red onions can be quick pickled with shredded carrots. Roast a chicken. Put the shredded meat in one bag while saving the bones for stock. Roast some peppers at the same time. Place all the peppers into a container with some olive oil. From here, single dishes come together as quickly as adding a few spoonful of this to a bit of that. Edit/spelling rice to cook off to cool. Misspelling caused a redditor to warn me about reheating rice. Rice and basically everything you put in your fridge needs to be properly cooled to room temp before storing in the fridge. Spreading rice onto a cookie sheet will quickly cool the rice. You can then drizzle with oil and herbs, then toss before putting it away. Liquids can be combined with stock for quick developed soup or thinning sauces without diluting flavors. By cooking this way, combining a little bit of this and that, you quickly understand how flavors interact with each other while never making more than one serving if you make a mistake. Deciding whether to have cold veggies and meat on toast or heating it first lets you understand how heat affects food and flavors. Some combinations will be winners, some will be questionable, but you can always experiment and adjust as needed. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.